You know, for as long as most of us can remember, the Fox X-Men were the ultimate heroes. They were the underdogs fighting for a world that hated and feared them. But what if their single greatest victory was actually their biggest mistake? There's a terrifying theory making the rounds that suggests in their fight to survive, they didn't just save their world. They ended up dooming countless others, turning themselves into the multiverse's most successful killers.
And look, this isn't just some random fan theory someone cooked up. This claim, what you're seeing right here, comes from a pretty well-known leaker, and it lays out a premise that is just horrifying. The idea is that every single time the X-Men's universe is about to collide with another one, they don't wait. They go on the offensive, and they wipe that other reality out of existence. They've essentially become predators, sacrificing trillions of lives just to keep their own world spinning.
So how in the world did we get here? How did our heroes fall this far? Well, that's what we're going to break down in this explainer. First, we'll look at the absolute unbreakable rules of the multiverse. Then, we'll pinpoint the exact moment the X-Men committed their original sin. We'll see how their universe literally started rotting from the inside out, faced the impossible choice they were forced to make, and finally, uncover the blood-soaked price of their so-called utopia.
Alright, so to really get how the X-Men could end up as villains, we have to start with the basics. We have to understand the fundamental laws of the multiverse, the very ones they shattered. Because it turns out there are some rules you just can't break.
Okay, so rule number 1 is something called a canon event. And if you've seen Spider-Verse or What If, you already kind of get what this is. These are fixed points in time, moments that are so important they have to happen to keep a universe stable. Trying to stop one isn't just a bad idea, it's like pulling the main support beam out of a skyscraper. The whole thing is designed to just collapse.
And that collapse, that's what leads to an incursion. This is the big one. It's the ultimate cosmic disaster. It's when two entire universes literally crash into each other. And when that happens, one reality gets wiped out, maybe even both. It's complete and total annihilation.
So, with those rules in mind, canon events and incursions, let's go back. Let's pinpoint the exact day it all went wrong for the X-Men. The day their greatest act of heroism became the multiverse's greatest sin.
It all goes back to one movie. X-Men: Days of Future Past. In their original timeline, mutants were doomed. The Sentinels were going to hunt them to extinction. That future, that horrible apocalypse, that was supposed to happen. It was their destiny. It was a canon event. But they refused to accept it. They sent Wolverine back, changed the past, and saved themselves. They did the impossible, and in doing so, they broke the single most important rule of their entire reality.
But here's the crazy part. When you do something like that, when you prevent the inevitable, the universe doesn't just forget and move on. No, it gets sick. It begins to decay, like a body fighting off an infection. It's trying to correct what went wrong. And you've actually seen the symptoms of this sickness. It's basically the entire plot of the movie Logan. The X gene being suppressed, no new mutants being born for 25 years, even Professor X's seizures that killed the other X-Men. That wasn't some new threat. That was the universe trying to force the mutant extinction that was supposed to happen all along. Even someone like Laura, X-23, surviving is a cosmic glitch. She's a loose end in a universe that's trying to tie itself off. And this is the ultimate tragedy, right? The universe is desperately trying to heal itself, but every time our heroes win, every time they save the day, they're not actually fixing anything. They're just fighting against the natural order of their reality, making the sickness deeper and the universe even more unstable. So, this cosmic sickness, this constant instability, it leads to a state of perpetual crisis. Their broken reality is basically a magnet for incursions, which forces the X-Men into the same horrifying choice, over and over and over again.
And this is where it gets really, really tough. I want you to just think about this for a second. Put yourself in their shoes. You're standing at a cosmic crossroads. You know 2 universes are about to be destroyed. Is it morally right to sacrifice one of them, billions, maybe trillions of lives, just to save your own?
I mean, just look at your options here. They are awful. Choice A, you do nothing. You hold on to your principles and you watch as your home, everyone you've ever loved, gets wiped out. And so does the other universe. Everybody loses. Or, choice B, you act. You become the monster. You pull the trigger and commit genocide on a scale we can't even imagine, just so you and yours get to live. It's a choice where the logical answer is also the most monstrous. And faced with that impossible choice, well, the leak says they chose to act. Again and again
And this brings us to the absolutely soul-crushing price of their survival, a price that probably hits one person harder than anyone else: Magneto. Think about the sheer, crushing irony of it all. Magneto, a man whose entire life was defined by surviving a genocide, finally gets his dream. He gets a perfect, peaceful world for mutants, a utopia. But he knows the truth. He knows this paradise is built on a foundation of dead universes, on the ashes of countless innocents who had to die so his dream could live.
And that's why this quote from him, man, it just hits different now, doesn't it? It's not some cool philosophical line anymore. It's a confession. He, a victim of genocide, became the architect of it on a multiversal scale. And when he closes his eyes for the last time, what is he going to see? A hero who saved his people, or a monster who built a home on top of a graveyard?
So that's where this all leads. It comes down to this one final, really uncomfortable question. By cheating death, by refusing to let their story end, did the X-Men save themselves only to become the very evil they always fought against? It completely reframes their entire history, forcing us to ask if the heroes we grew up with are actually the ultimate villains of the story.